Hey everybody, this is Jason Stallings, and welcome to the Artifice Podcast. And today, I want to give you a bit of an update on what I've been up to. I know it's been a while since I posted anything, but I want to talk to you a little bit what I've been doing. Really, this video is going to mainly be about a recent commission I had, but I thought I might try to say some inspiring things to my fellow artists, and a lot going on in my mind. Part of that is due to the fact that I took a career development course through my college SCAD called SCAD Forward. And not only did I explore my art career in maybe kind of ways to navigate my own personal, professional network and maybe develop things in that regard, but also, other professional pursuits. As I did give a lot of serious consideration to like the kind of goals I want to set for myself for both of those things, and I realized that both sides are things that are interesting to me. What I found out on the other end is that I have an interest in doing some kind of work in like a government or mission-driven organization that supports artists. That might be, Americans for the Arts, sorry, or City of Atlanta, City of Dallas. The kind of role might be in a supportive or, I don't quite have the right words for it, but a career counselor I worked with through my school has recommended something along the lines of account management. And I've always found that, like, in my everyday, 9 to 5 kind of life, I seem to function best when I'm, like, in a role where I can proactively support people and help fulfill their needs. So that's kind of the loose sketch of it. Moving on to the other things I've been up to, very lucky to be invited to be in a show with a new gallery in downtown Dallas called Premises Gallery in their inaugural show. I want to say a big thank you to Michael Ledoux for including me in that with a bunch of really wonderful artists that I really admire. And also, I was contacted by Amanda Hill, who's an interior designer that I've worked with in the past, and specifically in 2020 was with one of my most significant commissions to date. And was fortunate to really collaborate with her and come up with something really cool. And the clients who have a home in Rockwall, Texas, have interests in like a lot of things, but wildlife, hunting, but also country music, and like I have sort of come up with this process of creating things that revolve around kind of like a family abstract portrait or something along the lines of a coat of arms or a vanitas, but the kind of specific focus is around where I'm at in my where I was at in my creative growth, but also how I can kind of best tell their story, which is an approach I've applied to many of my commissions. So, and I think like the most gratifying element of that was when I, was at the home, the piece was hung where it was meant to be. And I think that the daughter of the client was like, "Oh, look at all this cool stuff. This is like things that are related to our family." And I'm thinking, "Wow, that's kind of cool." It's like it makes all the moments where you feel like you're struggling, and all that stuff that people don't see under the iceberg of a creative life, kind of vindicated or justified. So I think that was kind of the hopefully inspiring element I wanted to give to people is like, you have this opportunity to do so many things as an artist. It's easy to minimize what you have to give to the world because it's so internally focused. It's like inward, and you're communicating something about yourself and what you have to give to the world and what you're interested in. You know, people have other ways of giving to the world, and I would never diminish that, but I think it's not in anyone's interest, the audiences or the artists, to just diminish or minimize what you have to give to the world. And that can be something very powerful. It can shape opinions. It can just make somebody's day a little bit better. They can help them escape, something going on in their life that they're struggling with, even if it's just for a few minutes. So I think that that's something that I've gotten, or at least something that, I have to remind myself of. So, there was a very specific color scheme that Amanda came to me with, and she had all these really cool ideas about color, and all these things. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. Like, something about these colors and how they work with each other just really spoke to me and really got me energized. So I would have been excited no matter what, but felt like it was a unique challenge. And they're like a lot of dark colors and a lot of light ones, and it was unique kind of creative exploration for me. So I developed, about 3 studies, presented it to the client and the designer, and we discussed them. And being somewhat self-conscious, even though I knew I'd made something great, but met with them. They loved what they were seeing. Say majority of it they loved. Like 1 or 2 ideas that they're like, well, we don't need that. I think there was references to a dove, and I wasn't necessarily disappointed to see that go. I don't think they were either, so that worked out. Anyway, another few things, and I'm jumping around a bit, that I've been up to is I've made some new pieces, and I submitted my first proposal to a kind of a community arts center, and we'll see how that turns out, but I want to send a personal thank you to Erica Wahardo with the Mesquite Art Center for having a dialogue with me and inviting me to submit my work and have it be considered. That's something I really appreciate. She's somebody that I've been a friend with and colleague with for almost 10 years, maybe something, maybe more. But one send thank you to her. And I also submitted my work to the Mint Museum. They have a annual juried show called the Coined in the South, and I want to send a personal thank you to my good friend Clayton Seeley, who gave me a heads up for that show. Unfortunately, it wasn't picked, but I'm definitely going to submit next year. From what I saw, this was I think they got 4 or 5 times the amount of submissions they expected. So the competition was pretty stiff. So it's all good. Just happy to be, considered in that case. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to do that. So, what else is going on? I am working on some plans for a show in November. Have at least that's where things are looking, and I'll have more information on that soon. So, with that in mind, the process of creating this commission was really fun. I got a brand new light projector, and this thing really was a game changer for me in terms of translating ideas I had onto a larger scale. Even though all of the elements in the studies were hand drawn, and I felt pretty good about them. Something about the way the elements came about once I incorporated this light projector really just kind of hit it over the fence. So yeah, and I've been incorporating some new elements in some of my newer paintings. The main thing is I've been doing a lot more experimentation with interference colors. And if you followed, me on Instagram or see my work in person, you kind of see where that can go. And what I like about them is there's this kind of like bioluminescence, and there's, when you look at it in a certain light and the way it reflects light in certain angles, it kind of adds something to the painting that you didn't see there before. But it isn't obtrusive in the sense that like a metallic paint could be. So it kind of allows you something, a little something extra if you want it, but it isn't there all the time. Been doing a little bit of experimentation with gold leaf in some of my work, and thank my dad for allowing me the resources and kind of guiding me on that. So beyond that, definitely got some new work that's being shown in November. I've created a few new pieces as well on top of the commission, and just gonna keep on trucking. And I turned 40. And I guess I'll have another shout out. I got to visit with Nicole Cutts, who's a new head of our art sales at Scout Arts Atlanta. I'm sorry, my memory's a little fuzzy here. Really cool, wonderful curator and collector and artist. And we got to have a great conversation as I was visiting the city to visit my old friend Eric, meet his brand new son, and spend some time with his wife and kids and him. So it's been a great few months. So again, thank you as always for following my work and watching what I'm doing here. I have to admit I am not on the internet as much as I used to be. I want to use this as a platform to communicate what I'm doing and kind of reach out to people and kind of give you an update on what's going on. I also just don't really feel like it is in my best interest to be tied to something like social media so tightly, like the kind of algorithm demands it, because frankly I just don't. I know that at the end of the day, people are the product doesn't serve people anymore, and I'd rather focus on my own well-being and growth than being glued to a screen. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's perfectly healthy. Anyway, if you want to check out my work, let's go to jason-tellings.com. Got tons of great things there. Got an updated art book or coffee table book of my work on my website. It's got a 96-page book. It's pretty extensive. It's got a lot of my great work, including my most recent commission, which I guess I'll go into the... Before I leave you, I'll go into the kind of background of the title. I created a whole playlist of songs, which I'll link in the video description, where I explored country music. It's a genre of music that I've grown up with, but I've had ups and downs with it. There's certain artists that I really admire, I like their songs. There's a lot of it I find very grating. But everything that I included in this playlist is reflects something that I find engaging about this genre. It is something that is, very down to earth and connects with people on a very personal level, for the most part. But I think because I grew up in Texas, it's like it almost felt like I had to resist that a little bit and explore other things, because there's more coming out of this state than just country music. Anyway, there was a song that really struck a chord with me by Towns Van Zandt called "For the Sake of the Song." It's got these very emotionally cathartic and intense lyrics in a very soothing and almost kind of hymnal pastoral kind of mood to it. And something about that contrast really spoke to me. The subject matter of the painting isn't necessarily directly tied to that, but I would say maybe like the mood and the feel of the piece sort of like captures what I was feeling when I heard this song. So, and he's a very prolific artist and has kind of maybe like a tragic backstory to him, but really very deep and thoughtful lyrics. Almost kind of like a Woody Guthrie of sorts, but maybe more of a folk singer than that. Even though Woody Guthrie's a folk singer. Maybe I'm rambling. So yeah, that's the story, and thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.